Hi there! Welcome to Pallet University, the poison type. In my opinion, one of the most forgettable types, but also one of the most interesting from a scientific perspective. What really makes a Pokemon poisonous, and which poison type is the most deadly? I've combed through Pokedex entries from the manga, the anime, and the games of every poison type to find out just how deadly the poison type is. And it turns out, pretty deadly. And in a couple small cases, I used the Pokemon's real-life, real-world inspiration if it is specifically cited. But what does being deadly really mean? Even a little wolf spider is deadly if you're a fly. But when I say deadly in this video, I mean deadly to humans. Also, when I say deadly, I mean deadly as in with its toxins, not like Golbat or Crobat where it will suck your blood out and kill you that way, or like Ekans where it'll squeeze the life out of you. So it has to be deadly because of its venom or its poison. Of the 71 poison-type Pokemon in generations 1 through 7, 11 are definitely deadly, with another 9 that are potentially deadly. We just need some more information about them. Their Pokedex is kind of obscure about it, with the rest being almost completely harmless, at least as far as their poison is concerned. So in this video, to be considered deadly, the Pokemon must either have a Pokedex entry that specifically mentions it being deadly, or have strong evidence from its real-world basis. Also, just for fun, I looked at how many different ways it can cause the poisoned or badly poisoned status conditions via either its ability or its learned moveset by level up. Because TMs aren't real, like they're artificial, they're man-made, so I didn't count them at all. Now, if I included bits and pieces about every non-lethal poison-type Pokemon, this video would be like half an hour long. So we're just going to start off with Pokemon that are maybe lethal, possibly lethal. The Pokedex is kind of obscure about it. So which Pokemon can kill you? Let's find out. First, there's Nidorina, Nidorino, Nidoqueen, and Nidoking. And these Pokemon entries mention nothing about having a deadly poison, but they're in this category because Nidoran male and female are confirmed, definitely confirmed to be deadly. They could lose their deadly poison as they, get larger and better able to defend themselves in other ways. With Nidorina, it mentions that she uses her claws to defend herself a lot. So it's possible that their poison could become less deadly as they get older, but we really don't know for sure, and for all we know, they could still have a deadly poison. Next we have Vileplume, Venomoth, and Weepinbell. Not Victreebel, Weepinbell. And these three are lumped together because they have Pokedex entries that mention being able to paralyze their prey, or an opponent. And this is potentially deadly because while the paralysis status condition in Pokemon is non-lethal, in the real world, if you get paralyzed, you could die because you can't breathe. You could paralyze your ribcage so you can't breathe. You could paralyze your heart so it won't pump. You could paralyze, if you're running and you get paralyzed, you could fall and break your neck or something. So paralysis is potentially lethal, which is why they're in this category of maybe. Next we have Venipede and Whirlipede. Venipede's Pokedex entry also mentions the ability to paralyze large bird Pokemon that try to eat it. And since some of the larger bird Pokemon are about the size of an adult human, I think they could probably paralyze a human as well. So for the same reasons as above, Venipede is potentially deadly, and Whirlipede, similar to Nidorina and Nidorino, it could keep the same potentially toxic or potentially deadly poison that Venipede has, but we don't really know. All it talks about is its shell being really hard. Trubbish and Garbodor. Trubbish's Ultra Moon Pokedex entry actually says that if a young Pokemon or a child inhales one of its belches, that it might be a life-threatening situation. And, this is pretty much true for a lot of different, venomous or poisonous animals in the real world, is that if they, bite or sting a child, it is potentially deadly. So, but because this is sort of like a weird case, we're putting this in the maybe category. Same thing with Garbodor. If Trubbish can do this, I'm assuming Garbodor can do it as well. Hashtag side tangent, Trubbish and Garbodor actually learn the most moves that can cause poison without TMs, with 6. The last Pokemon in the potentially deadly category is Nihilego. Its Ultra Sun Pokedex entry mentions a neurotoxin that it uses, and with more information, I'd bet that it could be lethal, but we've also seen Lusamine in the game get, possessed or absorbed or something by a Nihilego and survive, so I really don't know where else to put it. Neurotoxin seems pretty deadly, but also Lusamine lives, so it's maybe. And finally, the deadly bunch. First up we have Mega Beedrill, and this one took a bit of digging. Beedrill is based off the Asian giant hornet, and alone one hornet cannot inflict a fatal sting on someone who isn't like allergic to the venom. But in groups they can be really deadly, and it takes roughly 30 stings was what I found to be a lethal amount to the average, normal human. So I worked out how much larger Beedrill is than one of these bees, because it stands to reason, if Beedrill is 30 times the size, then it should carry 30 times the venom, right? I think that makes sense. Unfortunately, Beedrill is only 26 times the size of this Asian giant hornet. But upon Mega Evolution, it grows like 1.5 feet. So, Mega Beedrill is the size of 37 of these hornets. So, because that's over the lethal amount of 30 stings, I would say Mega Beedrill is most likely quite lethal. Next we have Nidoran male and Nidoran female. And Nidoran female easily has the most Pokedex entries, confirming that it is deadly, with 6 over the years. Nidoran male can also be inferred to be deadly as well, because technically they're the same Pokemon, and Nidoran male's red and blue Pokedex entry says the larger the horns, the more powerful the venom. Since Nidoran male has larger horns than Nidoran female, we can assume that its poison is even deadlier than Nidoran females. Really don't want to mess with these little bunnies. Alolan Grimer and Alolan Muck. Alolan Grimer's Pokemon Moon Dex entry mentions that the crystals that form on its body contain a deadly fluid. Since Alolan Muck has these crystals as well, we can assume that they are also deadly. Ghastly. Definitely the most poisonous of its line, and probably one of the most poisonous Pokemon in general. In Fire Red, it's said to be able to topple an elephant in 2 seconds, which is basically impossible because biology doesn't work that fast. Nothing in your body can, process poison that quickly. But anyway, also in Pokemon X, it says that its gases can cause suffocation, and the definition of suffocate means that you die because you can't breathe, so pretty clear evidence to me. I was really surprised by this one, but Dustox is deadly. In the manga, it's quoted to release a deadly powder when it flaps its wings. Man, the Gen 3 anime would be so different if this were true. Seviper. The Seviper is based off of the elegant pit viper, Protobothrops elegans, from Southeast Asia, and this snake is not known to be incredibly lethal, but it has been known to cause, I think it was 1 death confirmed since 1965, and being that Southeast Asia is a very rural area, I would guess that it probably has killed more people that just haven't been reported. Plus it's over twice as large as the actual snake itself, so it stands to reason that it could inject at least twice the amount of venom. Same reasoning as we did with Beedrill. Next up we have Drapion, and Ash's Pokedex from the Diamond and Pearl anime says that its claws give off a deadly poison, and it really doesn't get much clearer evidence than that. We're almost done, we're almost to the home stretch, but next we have Toxicroak, and 3 different Pokedex entries say that even 1 scratch from its knuckle claw could be fatal. Man, maybe Brack should have curbed that habit in his Croagunk a long time ago. Let's hope it just never evolves. And finally, in the lethal category, we have Scolipede. This one was a little ambiguous since its Black 2 and White 2 Pokedex entry only mentions it being deadly to prey, but because it's over 8 feet tall and just this giant monstrous looking centipede thing, I'd say humans are definitely on the menu out in the wild. And there you have it. Those are the deadliest poison-type Pokemon. Of the ones in the deadly category, I'd say either Mega Beedrill or Seviper are the most deadly, since their real-world inspirations have actually killed people. Or maybe it's Nidoran, because it has the most Pokedex entries that confirm it being deadly. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you enjoy Pokemon science videos like this one, feel free to like and or subscribe, follow us on Twitter at Pallet_U, and as always, there's a time and place for everything.